Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for supporting Indie Agency News. I'm Doug Zanger, and I want to thank you for being members. If you're not members, go to indieagency.news. You can get more information about us. And another thing you can get more information about is our preferred partners. So these aren't what you would call random sponsors. So these are companies that have definitely proven that they've worked with independent agencies. They've proven that they've helped indies win. And specifically for us, we always want our preferred partners to work with existing Indie Agency News members. So I want to talk a little bit about our good friends at Path Labs. Right there. There you go. Media execution support that scales. So let's talk about this for a minute. You don't need to hire to scale media. And yeah, I know it probably sounds too good to be true, but that's what over 50 indie agencies have discovered with Path Labs. So they've really become an extension of your team. No headcount increase, no benefits, no management overhead. And we all know that executing media is getting harder and more fragmented. So Path Labs simplifies all of it so your team can focus on what they are great at. You know, things like strategy, things like creativity. And, you know, here's some data. You want to start looking at this. Here's one that's not actually in this key performance metric. They've got a 130% net dollar retention rate, 99.98% contract fulfillment. That's a big deal. Those aren't marketing numbers. These are agencies love working with us numbers. And so what I really appreciate, I've gotten a chance to get to know the team at Path Labs over the past several months. And they're great people to work with, and they're not a platform or automation tool. Experienced media pros who get it. So listen, if you're ready to streamline your media execution, not the sacrifice, check out Path Labs and all of our preferred partners at indieagency.partners. Again, thanks so much for your support. Enjoy the show. All right. I wonder who that was. I changed my outfit because it's baseball time. It's the playoffs. I'm here in Portland, Oregon, Philadelphia fan. But here's what I worry about. So I'm a Phillies fan and a Mariners enthusiast. And I don't want to be like that person like we were in middle school where it's like, I'm this fan. It's a better team. It's the best team right now. No. I've been here 33 years. Mariners, there's a lot to like, but lifetime Philly guy. Lifetime Philly sports guy. Which is weird because I'm originally from Minneapolis, but my family's from outside of Philly. So I guess that is the weird thing. Like I wanted to be like the guy that didn't root for them. Or I forgot it's Minnesota. I didn't want to be the guy that rooted for the Minnesota teams. So I didn't. But I'm excited. October baseball is great. Again, thank you to Path Labs. We've got more preferred partners too. We're going to be sharing more about them as well. And honestly, I've just enjoyed the hell out of like developing this preferred partner program. You just get a chance to really know these people and really know what motivates them and motivates them to serve independent agencies. So really stoked on that. And yeah, we got a few others that we're going to be sharing more about this week, next week, and throughout. So, but today, I'm bringing Ian in. I'm talking about indie work today. So you grew up on Long Island. We didn't discuss this. Are you a Mets fan?
No, we didn't get into it. I'm a Yankees fan.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. So as I understand it, it's like Mets, Jets, and then Yankees, Giants.
That's correct. And then we can all agree that like the Knicks reign supreme, and we don't need to pay much attention to the Mets.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a shame. I mean, I wish they were in Jersey still. The New Jersey Nets were great.
I grew up watching the Nets in Jersey. I grew up watching Drazen Petrovic. I grew up watching Armin Gilliam, all of that stuff.
Oh,
but now it's fun to watch these Knicks. I love these Knicks.
The Villanova Knicks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just got to get Dante DiVincenzo back.
I miss Dante. I get choked up whenever I see that, or is it an AT&T commercial where they all sort of reunite?
That was that. You know what? Good for AT&T on that one.
Stop fucking with me, AT&T.
Mm-hmm. Usually cellular ads are hot garbage, but that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. So Jets fan, I love Aaron Glenn. I don't want to turn this into like sports talk, but we're going to for a second. So Aaron Glenn, I love that guy. And I'm sort of ambivalent about the Jets, but for you and for my friend Ken Hine, I will give you a pass. So
thank you very much. And for my son who likes the Jets.
Because the field has been fallow for a very long time, and the fallow starts with Woody Johnson, but that's a discussion for another time. Go ahead and tune in to WFAN. And
yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. I'm glad that we
Boomer Esiason coming up next. Now give us a little bit of background on you, because we're going to get into this work, and holy shit, it's good. I want to know your background. We touched a little bit on it backstage a little bit, but give me the thumbnail, including just your work experience, your school experience, because it's super fascinating.
Sure. I'm glad that you really like the work. I have to say that I'm not solely responsible for it. Obviously, there are so many people. Yeah, of course. But if we go back in time, many years ago, I grew up on Long Island. I studied film at Emory, and I did a fellowship at the film school at NYU. And when I got out after studying dramatic writing, I wrote a variety of plays. I got signed by an agent, and for many years I was writing and selling TV shows, original TV shows. I sort of didn't go the staffing route. I was a creator, and I was selling like space operas to sci-fi, and like country musicals to CMT, and cable dramedies to DreamWorks and stuff like that. And so I was a writer, and identified solely as like a screenwriter for a period of time. But over that period of time, I was adeptly decorating the shelves of development executives who were buying my scripts and employing me, but not greenlighting the series. And in you know what I mean, which is not the best. Right. But in little like elliptical pockets, I had all of this time to write ads, and the ads would just go. And I said to myself, fuck, I like this feeling. I like making things, not writing the theory of things or the blueprint of things. And so eventually I sort of shifted my focus from the world of screenwriting to the world of advertising. I freelanced for years. I worked for, I think, about 5 years at a company called Kettle that's now owned by Code and Theory. And then Giant Spoon reached out, and they said, my man, you are painting with only a few colors on your palette. Like, you wrote all of this really diverse stuff in the past. You're making all of this elevated docu stuff, mostly for Apple and L'Oreal and brands like that. Why not come here? And I know it's a strange thing to say in the world of advertising, but be more fully expressed. You could create across every conceivable and inconceivable medium. And they could have been lying. They could have been selling me something, but they were telling the truth. And so I hopped over 7 years ago now to help build the creative practice here. And that's the sketch.
Yeah. What was the first ad you wrote? Do you remember?
Oh my God.
And listen, mine was, I got started in this business by selling a radio script for $35. So
I will tell you, I wrote it when I was in high school. I had a summer
job. I love where this is going already.
I had a summer job after I got fired as a camp counselor. And it was for a plumbing supply company, and I had to write an ad for a jacuzzi, and it was, you've always wanted your own private jet, now you have 6. I think that was my age 15, like, please don't fire me from a second job this summer, first ad.
Oh my God, the puns.
You
what's the
pun? Have to work through them.
No, I know, but that's amazing. 15. So here's what's funny. It's like, if anyone who's read Hey Whipple, so Luke Sullivan, love him. And a big thing is don't use puns. There's puns everywhere, right? Did you ever write anything punny? Do you remember anything punny?
I mean, like, I frankly, the rules only apply when the work isn't that good. You know what I mean? But do you think that's true? I think the rules apply when you are assessing work that you can't feel, that you have to think about.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
And
That's very
if you
fair.
create anything that's any good, the rules are sort of a footnote or an afterthought. That's at least that's how I irresponsibly approach everything.
No, that's true. Listen, I'm telling you, we're gonna watch this first, and then I'm gonna pepper you with a bunch of questions. This is Lucid, and this is, ladies and gentlemen, please soak this in.
Thought we were gonna see the world. This thing.
We'll find out.
Here they come.
Hold on here, hold on. We're good. I told you we'd see the world.
Start with Tucson.
Yeah.
Do some morning show. A little morning show applause for you there.
I'll take it.
All right, that's I got to make that a little shorter. Really, I mean, where do we even begin? You can't go wrong with Chalamet.
No. You can't go wrong with Chalamet, but you can make the most of Chalamet.
You can't go wrong with Jimmy Mangold.
You could not go wrong with Jimmy Mangold. He will simply not let you down. I learned so much from working with that guy. Working with both of them, really, but
all right,
Jim was amazing.
Listen, even though you're you're a Yankees fan. I wouldn't have given. I'm gonna listen. The praise is very effusive. Like I could just sit here and talk about how like break this down all day, and think about the million things. So the first thing the first people I want to give props to. So I know that when you're doing something this expansive, this vast, you know who are the unsung heroes who never get enough credit? Editorial.
The account. Edit, dude. Oh my gosh.
Walk us through what Edit was going through on this, because I think Edit is fascinating to me, especially with something this expansive.
Absolutely, yes. I'm happy to talk about that. So as far as this is concerned, like the post process was going to be a beast. I knew it.
Right.
And a good buddy of mine who's a terrific editor, his name's JoJo King, he works at Cabin, was the first person who came to mind. And I've worked with JoJo in the past on a variety of things. He's just someone who loves movies, not commercials, not promotional pieces. He loves films, and he's a student of films, and something that we've built our friendship on over the years. And Jim, it's not someone who Jim knew. And I think Jim had a couple of really, really talented people in mind. And we put JoJo's work in front of him beside these other folks. And he said, let's give JoJo a shot. He seems like a really, really talented guy. And in the process, you had two immovable objects. You had me and you had Jim, both with very, very strong opinions that and we're all working in the same direction. And JoJo has to bring his voice into this as well. So it was an emotional and psychological, I think, balancing act as much as it was a logistical one in terms of like putting the pieces together. I think we also wanted to all agree on our shared vision for what this should feel like and what it should reference and what it should and when it should transcend reference. So there was a lot of talking, a lot of conversation, a lot of sitting in supervised. Jim took some time to put together a pass with JoJo. I sat with JoJo, and typically, and I know you know this, when you're working through production of a commercial or a short film or anything like that, you say, thank you very much to the director at the top of the process, and you check in with them at milestone moments. But typically, they're not along for every moment of the ride. But Jim was, and that's so impressive, and it's so amazing that he cared so much, right? Two, that he was so generous with his time, and three, that he didn't care about like the way things generally are supposed to go. He's like, what's going to get us to the best final product? I'm here for it. That was really cool.
I love that. Let's go back. So first of all, props to the client for bravery, and we're going to talk about selling in good work here in a second. But let's start with the brief. So walk us quickly through the brief and here's the story I love. So the late Jim Riswold, and I hear this story all the time. And so the late Jim Riswold, just phenomenal on a million levels. I heard a story, and I need somebody to clarify if this is true or not. I heard that he once took a brief, or he would do, I don't know if he did it once or many times, he would like rip it, have a tiny piece, and he'd show it to the client and say, that's all we need. So, so walk us briefly through the brief and what stood out to you. And the other thing too is we love to hear when clients do great things when they're briefing their agencies.
Yeah, of course. I wish it were that theatrical.
No, I know.
I'm going to take. Yeah, I know exactly. And I magically pulled a single, slip of paper. It wasn't that. It was built on the back of a lot of hard work. So I'm going to take you back in time, just 18 months, and move through this at a clip. But we were 18 months ago. We were in a competitive pitch for the Lucid business, and we won the business on the basis of really, really strong strategy that was led by a guy named Corbin Brown here at our company, who's a really brilliant strategist, and a creative platform called Compromise Nothing. And what it suggests is that whenever you're buying any other kind of car, you're compromising something. You're leaving something on the table. Space, speed, pleasure, performance, something. And that is very much a genius of and idea. You get it all without compromise. So we brought that to market, I think, in January of this year for the very first time with a foundational piece of creative that said to the world, this is what Compromise Nothing means. It got everyone aligned and fired up. And then it became time to introduce Compromise Nothing and the brand that we had worked in partnership with Lucid to build to everyone, to the people, in a much broader way. So that was at the very, very heart of the brief. It was, now let's build Lucid into culture. And we inherited that brief, or we accepted that charge at the same time that the Lucid Gravity, which is a revolutionary, amazing SUV, was about to hit market or be marketed. And we said to ourselves, like, well, what's a really interesting way to talk about that? It had such an otherworldly collection of features and benefits.
Right.
The only answer is it's not of this earth. And so we began building this brand universe, something that was more expansive around that idea. So we began by seeding all of these influencer posts that had CG elements, all of these UAPs that were beaming down vehicles you could just glimpse. And then we had a big experiential moment where a massive IRL UAP landed over their meatpacking district studio and beamed down a chromed out SUV. And then what happens after what happens after a UAP lands on Earth? It's recovered and brought to a secret government facility for study.
Okay.
So that sort of brings us into the world of this spot a bit, but quite frankly, we were parallel pathing. You know how these things work. You know.
I mean, it's smart because because there's familiarity of people who knew what that was, but then it's such a seamless carryover.
Exactly. So it's like if you are a fan of the brand and you're following along, terrific. But there's no barrier to entry if you just are coming in. So that sort of brought us to a point where we wanted to resolve this story in such a way that the vehicle, this otherworldly vehicle in a government facility was pilfered, was stolen, and then brought to the people, brought to everyone.
Right.
So everyone could enjoy it. And at that point, we actually hadn't signed Timothée Chalamet.
Well, because he was so busy with the Timothée Chalamet lookalike contest. I mean, how are you going to get him booked?
It's a full-time job. Full-time job. So as all of that's happening over here, and we've built a spot, we are advocating, and Lucid, who's a wonderful partner, is working with us to find a brand ambassador that builds them into culture, that makes them mean more and stand for the sort of defiance that Compromise Nothing is all about.
Right.
You look at all of Timothy's work, like across genres, and how the sort of pedigree of films that he puts out. Like it felt like a great match, and then it was up to us to bring these two elements together.
Here's what I found interesting about the casting. So there's, I think what's interesting is in this format and in this story for Timothée Chalamet, it doesn't feel gimmicky. And where I'm going with this is there's a maturity to him as an artist, right? And that's just normal. That's just normal building a career.
Sure.
But I thought it was there's a maturity to the story. There's a maturity to him. And I thought it just worked really, really well because it can come across as super gimmicky at times. And it really, really fit extraordinarily well. I mean, I take a look at like Hyundai. I think the Parker Posey stuff right now, like that fits the brand so incredibly well. Now, Hyundai's had many, many years of getting up to that point. Lucid is starting at point one, and Timothée Chalamet is doing a lot of things that are, luxury in particular. But I felt like he had a more mature presence in this.
I agree. I think that for 10,000 Reasons, he really fit the bill for Lucid. He is a very future-facing talent who I think represents the next generation of global icons. And I think Lucid gets to position themselves as new icon by virtue of associating themselves with Timothée. In addition to his taste profile and all of that stuff. As far as the spot itself went, he's on board at every phase of the way. He's there from concepts across like a single slide to the development of the script, through casting, working with us and with Jim on the development of everything. So he has to be totally, comfortable with what we're doing. And I think he has great faith in Jim, having worked together on A Complete Unknown. And Jim's not building this out of thin air. There's so much thought that goes into this. And we talked about building a relationship between Larson Thompson, who's amazing in this as the bride, and Timothée, that took inspiration from like Sugarland Express. We had so good. Like we had like a Close Encounters moment, like inside the hangar. It's very much, we never talked about this, but to me, this is a pulpy Roger Corman drive-in movie elevated to the level of luxury.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, and so like that's what's happening here. It's like if you look at The Blob, right? James Dean in The Blob. It's like young people who are relatable and rebellious enough to be charismatic find themselves in supernatural or otherworldly trouble.
Right.
And that's what this is. So there was a lot of like cinema history that went into building.
It's really cool.
This.
Yeah, no, this all makes a lot of sense. And then, we land on Tucson. Like, where else are you going to do? Like, where else would it be? Albuquerque? I mean, I guess.
Yeah. One of the writers on our team, great creative director, Brian Ortiz Dempler, he's his partner, Lexi Rodriguez. They worked on this together and they're amazing. I think Brian just threw out Tucson on a call with Jim, and then he like reached out to me on the side. He's like, "Was that cool? Is the Tucson thing okay?" I'm like, "The Tucson thing is great."
Yeah. I mean, we've covered strategy quite a bit, and we've, I think we've really covered a lot of lessons that you've learned along the way. The thing that I'm always curious about is how you sell in great ideas like this to a client.
Yeah.
Now, understanding that over your career, and you don't have to name check here, over your career, my guess is that you've had instances where you wanted to get bold work out there, but you didn't have a client who was a willing participant in that. Yeah. My question would be, especially for an independent agency or one that, really wants to get in there and do great work, how do you sell in great work? How do you convince the client that it's the right thing to do?
Yeah, I think there's a practical answer and then there's like an existential answer.
Yeah.
I think the practical answer is people come to Giant Spoon for a reason. And we've built a reputation as a brand that, as an agency that stirs shit up. That's our mantra, our tagline. So you're shopping here as a brand less frequently for safe, boring, run-of-the-mill stuff. You're going to get something bold that is an outside of the lines sort of idea. So that helps us because that conversation is almost subtext, like it's happened, or it's understood. I beg your pardon. So they know they're coming here for something bold. I think that the brief that we received here was one that was very much put us into culture, help us become a more meaningful part of culture. And so the audacity of the work has to be commensurate with that request. So you need to build something big and you need to build something splashy that shows up in GQ and Rolling Stone and V Magazine and everywhere that it got covered. So right. I think that was sort of built in, which was working in our favor. I will say, like, when you're in the room and the assignment's in front of you and you want to do something audacious that's going to move the work forward, the brand forward, you don't just do it because it's good. You do it because it's good and correct. I do what I've always learned from my wife, who has taught me more about everything, I think, than any job, which is
cosign.
Exactly. Well, I hope that went over well. I hope she's
listening. No. I'm with you.
Yeah, no, but for real, she's worked in fashion for 20 years, and she's worked in merchandising and sales for luxury brands, and on the corporate side. And she always told me that like the best sale is a non-sale. You don't win by selling anything. No one wants the smarmy salesperson in there trying to put one over on them or convince them of something. I think you go in there and you tell the truth and you don't pull punches or hold back when it comes to your perspective, but you're honest with the client about what's going to be the best thing for the work and for their business. If you're trying to convince them of something that's not going to help their business and it's sort of self-serving, you shouldn't be pitching it. But everything we advocated for, and there were things that weren't originally part of this that we advocated for, we were going to just compose something small sonically for this, and we ended up licensing Burning by the Yeah. It's like that's not the easiest conversation to have because it comes with an expense, but we had it because we thought that something would be conspicuously missing when you have Timothy and Larson and Jim and the amazing cinematography and the stunt driving by the crew from Ford versus Ferrari and all of that,
Mm-hmm.
that the hole needs to be filled. But we simply just planted our feet and told the truth. And the reason I think that's so important, and I guess this is the bigger philosophical part, is I don't think a spot or a campaign matters nearly as much as you. And if they don't trust you and they think that you're someone who's coming in and bullshitting them, a temporary short-term transaction and getting something that you want in the near term is not nearly as valuable as like earning that trust over like a much longer period of time. So, don't be an asshole. Don't advocate for something that isn't going to help the brand.
Right.
But good creative wins. So go in there and respect the people you're talking to and tell them the truth.
Yep. You're a Long Island guy.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Billy Joel doc?
I watched the Billy Joel thing and I got all choked up and I'm real upset. I'm real upset that he's not well.
I know. But I mean, it just so I've played piano for a long time, and my wife was like, I'm not even gonna, usually it's like I'm gonna tell you 30 things about the thing I just watched.
Yeah.
She goes, I'm not telling you one thing about any of this. And I was like, oh, it's really, really good.
So good. I could listen to Billy Joel say the word song. Yeah, exactly. Like on repeat for a good 48 hours before I get tired of it. But he's such a gifted writer.
And complex, just complexity in what he does, but also complexity in the way that he thinks.
It's so profound. What I love about Billy Joel is how he disarms, I think, audiences by being so accessible.
So good.
Then delivers virtuoso music, like really incredibly composed, lyrically extraordinary music. And he was dismissed as a young person, as a young performer. And
and it's so funny, like growing up, you're like, oh yeah, that song, and then you realize, holy shit, he was talking about what?
Yeah, I know, it's wild. He's
we saw him live in Portland, and I mean, the best. Just absolutely the best. I always like, it's just like whenever I talk to people from Long Island, I always like talking about Long Island's amazing, by the way. I'm going to go up to. I mean, listen, you got to take the good with the bad. Listen,
yeah, I think that's right.
I grew up in Jersey, so I know what I'm talking about. So as a film nerd, I would like you to recommend one film for people who just, want something a little bit different, not, just like one thing that maybe from the archives that you watched or something unexpected that you think people might, this conversation has gone from creative to, I don't know what, but I like it.
I'm here for it if you are.
So give people a film like, you know what, it's going to challenge you and it's in French. Oh, speaking of French, by the way, Timothée Chalamet, getting back to him, I don't care for his choice of French soccer teams. So Saint Etienne, I know his family's from there, but I don't know. All right, so go back to your film choice.
Take that up with Chalamet. I think I'll give you the French movie recommendation that you're looking for.
Okay.
I think that my favorite French film is La Haine. I don't know if you've seen it with Vincent Cassel. From
He's
the 90s.
So good.
It's a fucking masterclass in not only like storytelling, but it's a visual spectacle made in a grounded way. And the cinematography in that movie is mind-blowing. I've been because this is such an attractive quality, I've been giving lists of films that I love to people on my team. Which they definitely are.
No, send it our way. We'll publish that. We will publish that. Send this our way.
Okay, well, I'll give you like 50 films, and that's right up there.
Yeah,
that's right up there.
Please send it. This is the type of stuff we love publishing. We love this.
You got it. I mean, I really think that's the sort of movie that opens your mind and makes you think differently about not only the content of what you're making, but how beautiful you can make it.
Yeah. And Vinny C. Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong. Well, this was fun.
Yeah, super fun. Thank you.
God, we'll have you back. Clearly,
Okay.
You can come up with the topic. Like if you want to do a film review, like
Yeah, you got it.
listen, this is the members platform. If this is whatever you want to do,
Famous last words. Yeah.
you got
famous
carte
last
blanche. And you know what? You can host it. You don't need me hosting it. I'll be your producer on the back end.
I think I do need
fun.
you. I think I need you,
All right.
or else I'm going to be doing Down Easter Alexa and talking about French movies.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna put you backstage. This isn't a Zoom call. Hang out backstage for a second. All right. This was. I love when we talk about work and then we just start veering into a million different directions. Oh my God. So first of all, that work is through the roof amazing. And I love hearing about the backstories, and here's the thing I will say, and you're hearing this more and more. So think about your favorite celebrity who might be in an ad, or two, or a series. I love hearing that the involvement from the beginning of the process. And I would definitely expect that from Timothée Chalamet, but you hear it from a lot of artists out there, because, it ain't just making a buck. It's about making sure that it is relevant to what you believe in. So, there's a lot on that topic as well. It's common sense, but at the same time, if we learned anything from the Riyadh Comedy Festival, everybody has a price. But those who do the right things, long-term benefit to that. Boy, I am turning into Soapbox meets TED Talk today. I'm going to shut my mouth. To all of our members, thank you so much for your support. If you'd like to learn more about membership, yes, we are a trade publication, but we are a service to our members. 300 agency members around the world strong. Go to indieagency.news. You'll see a button to say join Indie Agency News. You get more information, and always you can reach out to me as well. You can do that by email at the site, or I'm very easy to find on LinkedIn. On behalf of everybody at Indie Agency News, I'm Doug Zanger. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.